what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum. Now, we are currently in the interim stages between two live debates, so I will pass over to the live panel so you can enjoy the dulcet tones of whoever is in there while I set up for the next live show.
So they just start bragging about it without actually carefully looking at the material.
Yeah, they're already saying that we should just shut it down and, you know, call it quits because of this experiment. Like, what? Yeah. No, guys.
Declare victory, then talk about the victory, and then don't actually go through the evidence. That's what they typically do.
What was the name of the guy who made the video, the channel?
Blue Marble Science.
Yeah.
I have heard him speak before. He sounds like Bob the Science Guy.
Because I remember Blue Marble something. So yeah, that's
there was
definitely
a kid,
the one they were talking
name.
about. Yeah, that was just Blue Marble, right? But we're talking about this guy. This was definitely the experiment they were talking about yesterday that they were excited for. Yay!
Well, I was just thinking about something. It makes me think about something. If you get the automotive industry doing their own crash tests, what do you think would be the result of all their crash tests? They would be safe. Our cars are safe. They can handle it. They can do all this stuff. But you need someone outside of that industry to really test the vehicle to see if it's true. Really, it's what they should do is say, hey, we've got this experiment. Flat Earthers, take a look at it and see if it's valid. This be a hard critical analysis. You'll never see that happen. But that's really how it should happen. They should have brought this to us and say, guys, what do you think? But they didn't. They just pat themselves on the back and say, yay, guys, we did this. Did anybody hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
They're not using the gases that are present here in the atmosphere by, at this level. So when, you use methane, I'm sure it's going to sink and create pressure. That's just, I don't know. It's like the one guy that was saying, refraction and this and that, and he was using some gas that made it 100 and some odd degrees difference for like point whatever seconds. And you could see the little thing happen for a second.
Right. I remember what you're talking about. Wait, wasn't that butane again that they were burning off that? Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking out.
I'm not sure. It might have been. I know when I did mine, I used just regular air, nitrogen, oxygen based. The air's around here. Yeah, it's nonsense. It's trickery. It's like an illusion. Yeah. I don't give them enough credence to call any of them wizards.
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, that's what it is, though, right? I mean, the name of the video is gas pressure without container, but yet there are two. Just looking at it, there's two containers right there. So, okay, somebody fucked up.
Look, the entire thing, I tried to say it earlier, it's a red herring. It's a red herring field experiment.
Not
so
red herring.
Just, we're doing this, and then they're actually not literally doing that. It just kind of looks like it is in the same subject. And many people look at that and think, oh yeah, he's doing it. They don't really get it. They don't really look at what he's doing. And that's how it works.
So do we think the ultimate goal of them was showing that the gas was in this pipe was being held in this pipe, but being an open pipe, that was okay, not countering the
Oh, they were
not
counting. They were counting people not to think about it too meticulously.
Are they crazy? Like the first thing we're gonna think about.
I think it would follow more the idea of a straw man more than a red herring. They built something up and it wouldn't necessarily knocked it down, but they built it up and showing that, look, this is right. More what they did than a red herring, I think.
Or are we just not supposed to consider the pipe to be a container? Or
it's a red herring.
Say, oh, that's a pipe, not a container.
I thought Paul was right. Paul said it was a false equivalence.
The red herring fallacy. We went over this before. It's just the dressed up gas pressure gradient. It was incoherent from the beginning. You guys did it really well. You missed one thing though. If he could pull his observed phenomenon, independent variables, you guys missed the dependent variable, right?
No,
he did. He had it listed. One of them we would have said it was the cause. He had the actual pressure itself as one of the causes, plural.
He switched the dependent variable.
Sorry, I lost track once it was obvious he was not demonstrating gas pressure without a container. So,
well, back to switching. He switched the dependent variable. Go ahead and pull that up again. I can't see it.
Look at did gravity turn into the phenomena then?
No, he used his airs popping as the observed phenomena, and then go look what he wrote as the dependent variable.
Well, that would be the dependent variable, wouldn't it?
You'll have to bring it up, Anthony. I can't even remember.
Nathan, can you present me for a second, Nate?
I'm trying to do about 6 things at once and set up a live show. Sure, Auntie.
Thank you very much. You're very well.
There you go. You're on screen. The audience is watching, so to speak.
The Cambridge English Dictionary. Examples of a container. Upon removal from the nets, fish from each station were placed in plastic containers according to species. Now then, let's have a look at what a plastic fish container looks like. Well, what do you know? What do you know? Doesn't have a lid, doesn't need to have a lid, just has 4 walls. It's still a container.
Can we get back to the dependent variable, please? Hello?
No.
Yeah, Anthony's got it on. I just need to share. No, we can't.
Gas pressure in the pipe.
Just give me a second, guys. I've got to share screens with Quantum Eraser so we can actually see what's being demonstrated. That, and every time I open my mouth, my kid decides she needs to talk, which makes things harder.
Too funny.
Yes, he's going to take over the show, Nathan.
You guys did a great job. I mean, this was a crayon munching retard classic, right? He needs an Adderall drip, but I was just waiting for somebody to catch the dependent variable. So observation, my ears pop. You see, the dependent variable is always your observed phenomenon. Now go down and look what his dependent variable is.
We did
gas
pick this
pressure
point up,
is in the pipe.
John, we did pick this point up. You must have missed it.
No, you didn't. You missed it.
No, we did miss it. So our argument starts.
No, we didn't.
Our argument starts and ends with his dependent variable. Check out what it says.
Oh,
well, hang on. How did he observe his ears popping?
Just look at what it says under the words dependent variable. What does it say?
gas pressure in pipe.
Which he put in the pipe.
This was picked up. I literally said, "Oh, look, he's changed his dependent variable, so it should be ears pop for his dependent variable." I literally said that.
If you did, you got somebody was talking over you.
You did, but the point is that we're saying you can't have gas pressure without a container. His dependent variable, the phenomena he's trying to observe, is gas pressure in a container.
But Nathan, what's the definition of observe?
You see it.
That's so bad.
How the hell? He's seeing his ears popping.
Yeah, observe a natural phenomena. I'd let that slide. Ears popping.
I did too.
I would let that slide.
Yeah, me too.
Wait, I think I see why it's so bad, because, I mean, again, the name of the video is gas pressure without a container, yet in the dependent variable is gas pressure in a container.
Right. Yeah, that's right. But listen, this is so hilarious. If you look at this hype, where'd they get gravity? when did gravity make an appearance in this? He just by fiat?
Yeah, we did say that as well. We said he just presupposed it.
I mean, his hypothesis is a train wreck. It's not a hypothesis. Independent variables, height's not an independent variable. Analysis, mathematical prediction. 1 + 1, my prediction, my mathematical prediction, it's 2. Oh, it is 2. Look, I'm a scientist. For fuck's sake.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion right here, right now, simply mute the page you are currently watching. Then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to this channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Arwin, Chocolate Saiyan, Chris, Zachary Zabala, otherwise known as Good Times for All, Paul, Ranty Flat Earth, Sleeping Warrior, and Quantum Eraser. Very good to have you all.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good
Ready
morning.
for round 2?
Round two, yeah.
Thank you for having me, Nathan.
It's a pleasure. Shout out to the Mind of God for the super chat during the break between the two live shows. Thank you very much indeed. We didn't even get... We didn't even get through housekeeping last time, so I'll see if we can rattle our way through it this time. Any signs of Earth-based curvature?
Nope.
No.
Soundly's Causeway choo-choo train observation. We'll get to that. Go on.
I don't mind doing that straight away.
Yeah, rest in peace to that.
So who's got a good version of Google Earth that they could share right here, right now, on the panel?
I do.
You're lucky I love you.
Oh, okay. Do you want to do it, John?
Oh,
I'm
you want the panel
gonna-
to see it? Go ahead.
Yeah, if someone on the panel can do it. Is anybody willing to bring up Google Earth?
Sit down. Sit down. Good boy.
I'll do it.
You're screen sharing at the moment, Anthony. Any chance you can bring up Google Earth?
Yeah, I'll have to swap it over. Hang on. Shout out to Slick James, who was rudely removed by Ranty because he's being naughty. So
Shout out subtracted.
Sorry, did you
Shout
say
out
shout out
Ranty.
subtracted?
Damn, Arwin, you were ready for that, huh?
You said,
Yeah, I didn't even
shout
get the
out
words out.
subtracted. I had shout out
Shout out
subtracted.
subtracted.
As you're trying to do that as we go along, we might do the rest of the housekeeping. Oh, no, we're on it. Right, so any signs of Earth curvature, and John said something about Pontchartrain, or what was it you were saying, John?
It's like choo-choo train, man.
Lake Choo-Choo Train is on screen right now, so we've got Google Earth up, and we can see this line, which is presumably the bridge going across it, right?
Yeah, it's choo-choo train. Have him, hey, Anthony, go ahead and zoom in on either side of the bridge, the north or the south side, doesn't matter. Go ahead and get the elevation, not of the bridge, of the shoreline.
Elevation says 6 feet.
Where's your, oh, that's at the top. They have a whole bunch of rocks. Go down there by the water.
Oh, I was going to say 1 foot then, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about 1 foot. 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot down there by the water. Not in the lake. All right. Go to are you on the south end? Go to the north end.
got to go all around this curve here, this massive amount of curve. Hang on.
I don't see any curve.
Feels like we're back.
All
Feels
right,
like we're back doing
the same routine. Not the bridge, the shoreline.
4, 3, 2, 1. So it's saying sea level.
Right. So how can that be? You got a bridge 24 miles in length, correct?
Yeah.
It has to have, according to their spinning ball-tard space monkey religion, there has to be vertical drop. That means every point along a tangent from your feet falls away from you at 8 inches per mile squared. Is that correct?
Yeah.
If that's true, then how could each shoreline on each side of the bridge be the same elevation? Doesn't that mean level?
Yes, it does.
So how can we have drop? How could we have a level curve?
Can't. It's a contradiction in terms.
Any questions?
Yeah, we need a baller to come and explain this, because I think they would say it's relative to the center of a sphere rather than level on a flat plane.
This is depicted when you zoom out as a sphere. So if they're going to claim that it's somehow dropping when you take a picture of something and you can measure that drop, that it drops away from you. What's drop again?
Vertical relief.
Vertical relief from one side of the bridge to the other. But it doesn't demonstrate it on this clearly flat Earth representation. Well, that's not our problem, right, Anthony?
Yeah, I'd say so. We need a baller to come and explain how stupid we are. Any ballers can join us and tell us how stupid we are.
There is a gap on the panel. As always, there's a link in the info box below the video if you'd like to join and explain where we're going wrong here. But I don't take that as an evidence of curvature. I take that as an evidence of a flat plane. We move on.
Plus, Ron Hamburg's video from yesterday didn't help them either, with it showing complete flatness from his observation.
Absolutely.
This could be super looming compression.
It could be slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena holographic representations of things that we can't see, but are there in their model, even though mathematically they're not. Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety? Shout out to Defund NASA for the super chat. Thank you very much.
Nope. No actual axial rotation.
Any signs of an axis? That's
No.
my question.
Only the presupposition. What about scientific evidence of gravity? Any evidence whatsoever?
No.
Scientific would be preferable.
Evidence, but not scientific. It's just aberration.
Where's Slick when you need him?
You don't need him.
Didn't Mr. Hillbilly gas pressure just show that gravity did exist?
No. Inserted it as a presupposition.
He showed it that it can be presupposed.
Yes, you can have a fundamentalist belief in this shit. That's correct. Hey, 10th man, can we see if we can get a sound out of you?
Yes. Is this working?
Perfect. Yep. Yes, very good to have you. Just in time. Just in time for the housekeeping. So, any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Nope. There's no confirmed measured distance to the sun.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the center of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Presupposed, I guess.
No, I don't think that even in the presupposed spherical Earth there is any evidence of a molten iron core.
Well, no, I meant presupposed, like that first show where the guy had the gas pressure in the container, trying to show how it's not in container. It's right in front of him.
Right. We've got just two more. Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
R.
Just on my tires.
On your tires? Where?
No, just on my tires. That's the only thing.
Where is R? Show us the evidence of R.
Radial tires. It was a joke.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, I thought you really want to get evidence to R. Really?
I'll say it a bit slower. Any evidence of the R value Earth radius?
Oh.
No, Nathan.
Shout out to FE Diplomat for the super chat. Thank you very much indeed. Last but not least, any evidence of gas pressure being maintained without a container?
No.
No.
None.
No.
On the outside of a spinning ball.
I've seen it. I've seen it done in Star Trek in the latest one, where they used shields, energy shields, to keep in air. It's very convenient. And it was supposed to
Wouldn't the shields be considered a container?
Hmm?
I said, wouldn't the shields be considered a container?
Yeah.
Well, not a physical container.
But a container. Even though it's sci-fi and space isn't real, neither is Star Trek.
But they still need a container.
I have something for John on screen.
Yeah.
That'd be useful.
Can you see that, John? Quantum eraser?
Yes.
Okay, so 2005, this is the American Meteorological Society, and they are showing how tides work with a cross-section image showing you the difference between high tide, low tide, etc., how it works across an ocean. Well, if this is how it works across an ocean, why is the ocean not curved? Except for where the tides are.
Are you asking me why is the oceans not curved?
No, what I'm saying is this fits in with your argument for Lake Pontchartrain.
New guest.
Hello, Teresa Flower.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's Matt here. How are you guys doing?
Matt. Good to have you.
Hello. Thank you.
You think if this was a cross section from point A to point B, that you'd have to have the curvature of the Earth, this water has to be curved, and then you'd have to have an extra curve on top of each, wouldn't you, for denoting high tide and low tide? If the Earth was curved.
Did you actually identify the useful nature of this in terms of how there's a differing obstruction? Because so far you've just sort of, to my ears, just made the point that there should be an extra Earth curve if there's an Earth curve on top of these, as you put it, node and high-low tide markings. But
yeah, I mean, to me, this looks like it's just a flat body of water that's got a hump in each position where the high tides are. Exactly how you'd expect it on a flat Earth, as opposed to a globe Earth.
Fine, that's what I was waiting for you to do, actually make it as a statement.
Okay, there you go. And this is from the American Meteorological Society.
Ranty, do you have this in the opposite? Where you have a low tide at the shore and a high tide, I guess, in the middle? Or is that possible? Is that how it works?
This is all that's on this particular site.
Good stuff. That concludes the housekeeping.
Hey, Nathan.
Yes.
Well, we got John on the show here. Saturday, you guys are going to do the ball busters, right? On what topic again? I'm sorry.
The Big Bang. It's going to be epic.
Yeah.
Be here or be sphere. 2 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. UK. Ballbusters live.
Good segue.
You should call it Bang Busters.
Big Bang Busters. Oh, that sounds pretty. No, I don't know. Chocolate.
So my question, while John is here, maybe we can go over the first and second law of thermodynamics, because it came up a few times this last week. And it seems like the interpretation of the first law from an atheist or an agnostic comes out a little different than if you use the second law to interpret the first law. So if you take a personality out and a ideology out, and you use the second law, which is a law, to interpret the first, it would bring some context to the conservation issue of energy, and also entropy, the second law. Could John take a shot at that? And then I have a few questions once I hear what he says.
Shot at what? I didn't understand your question.
Well,
what's your question?
We had a few panel members saying that energy can't be created or destroyed. So that proves it was always here. But the second law says that all that available energy is running out. So how can it always be here if it's running out?
That's right. That's the paradox. So, and you got to remember, we're talking about these are natural laws, right?
Precisely.
It only holds sway over nature because they are natural laws. So nature, the best way to say it is when you say these definitions is nature cannot create or destroy matter or energy. That's the first law. So it's best to always start off with that. That remember, they're always natural laws. Does that make sense?
Totally. I got it. But what I'm saying is what happens, just like when people hijack other terms about flat earth or globe earth and all this stuff, is when they say, and it's been stated here, energy can't be created. They define that as always being there. And that's how they get.
I'm going to say again, nature or natural law cannot create or destroy matter or energy.
Thank you very much. This is why I want to do this today before your show tomorrow.
Yeah. You always start off with that. Now, when you read these laws, they're not going to say nature or natural law. They're going to assume that you already know that's what they are. It's kind of heavily implied, but that's the best way to do it. Always start off with nature or natural law cannot create or destroy matter or energy. And for the second law, in nature, all spontaneous processes result in an increase in entropy of the universe. Those are two summaries of the first and second law of thermodynamics. Good?
Very good. There was a YouTube of John Warwick Montgomery, who it's a 1982 shot on the John Ankenberg show, and he was talking about this, and it's a really good clip. And he's talking that the first law of thermodynamics was not defined or discovered by a preacher or someone who was religious, but science. And then he read the law, which is what you just did verbally. And then he went to the second law. And he did such a great expose. I don't know if someone could pull it up and just play that 5-6 minute mark on him. I don't want to steal his thunder, but it was so good. It's John Warwick Montgomery, John Ankenberg show, 1982.
No, I wouldn't do that. You could send the link, give Nathan the link, but don't play it. They could copyright strike, man. Don't even try that.
So even if you just play the sound?
No, definitely not. Anyway, did you have anything else to add? Great point.
I have something to add. He said that science discovered the laws of thermodynamics. Let me tell you something. Natural laws are not scientific. They do not enter the scientific method. I know people are going to get their panties in a bunch over this one. I've taught on this before. So they're not scientific. They're just natural laws. Does everyone follow that?
I think the point he was trying to make, I know what you're saying, and I agree 100%. I think the point he was trying to make is he's using their statements against them. That's all.
Does everyone understand that?
I think John, I'm over.
Does everyone understand that? Because the scientific method is concerned with cause and effect, right? What's the cause of entropy? Best wishes.
Hey, John, I don't know if you're going to deal with this or not, but it's also been brought up on here, the infinite regress fallacy. I don't know if you're going to address that at all, but maybe try to unpack that.
Didn't I address that the other day in the 4-hour megathon? Infinite regress fallacy. Richard Dawkins redox. Who created the creator's creator's creator? That's an infinite regress. It's a never-ending feedback loop. Is that good?
I know, but I don't know if you can try to unpack it more in detail and explain why it doesn't work and even how it relates to cause and effect, that kind of thing.
Well, it's a regress fallacy. It's the argument's void because it's a fallacy. So, like I said, I did it on the megathon. But if anyone wants to go back and see that, they can go back and pull that up.
Hey, John, you said
as much as I'm not religious, that argument for me just stops at the creator.
Not much.
Hey, John, you said a word there, loop. Now, Anon
I'm getting a lot of
loop,
feedback, man.
No, I know, but
Zach,
just hear
can
me
you
out.
hold on 1 second? Zach, can you pop yourself on mute?
Ready?
Yeah. So let me continue on that loop, because Anon says it's just looping. But wouldn't looping be creating? And since energy can't be created, he can't use loop, and it's not in the first law anyway.
I didn't hear you.
I've muted Zach. Sorry.
Oh,
can you repeat it?
No, sorry. Go ahead, Nathan. Okay. You want me to do it, or did you hear me?
If you can just say it once more.
Yeah. Anon referred to the energy as looping, but by doing so, he violated law of non-contradiction because he says it can't be created. So if it loops, who's creating it?
Yeah, energy. Did he say energy is looping? Is that what you said?
Well, when you said the second law of thermodynamics, all that available energy is running out, entropy. Anon's only go place, and hopefully he could join the show and say what he said again, is okay, so it's being recreated, or he didn't say it that way, he said looping. So the whole point, if it's running out and you can't create anymore, it just shows there was a beginning. Someone made it that way with those properties.
Yeah, the nature only moves one way, and that's for increased entropy. It doesn't loop. The process is irreversible.
Yeah, but on that mega 4-hour show, he kept saying looping and no one caught it. And I'm bringing it to the forefront because the first law doesn't say looping anywhere. In fact, if it did, that means it's on a rerun tape and it's got to be recreated, but you can't create it because the first law says it can't be created. So it doesn't make any sense.
Wait, I missed something.
You didn't. It's not looping. It's increasing entropy. Simple.
The creator on the two ontological primitives. Nathan, can you say those two so I can finish out this segment on that question?
Sure. Nature or intelligent design. As an answer to a question, where did it all begin?
So we're down to those two. So now in those two, nature is a closed system. There's no God outside of it. So that's it. That's all there is. Whereas if it's a creator, the creator, as you and others have said, can create any rules to anything the creator wants. He's not bound by those rules. So what if the creator made those natural laws for the natural world, the creatures he made? Obviously, that makes more sense because then it would not violate the second law of thermodynamics. But when atheists say there is no creator, nature did it, the second law kicks their butt because the second law contradicts them. It's running out. Well, running out means an end. An end means a beginning. Had to have started. Can't always
both
be
laws
here.
kick their butt.
Now.
Both laws kick their butt.
I agree. I agree.
While we're on the subject of entropy, maybe 10 minutes ago, Chris threw up a message that said that he'd had a baller response in terms of this claim to violate the second law of thermodynamics in the form of a demonstration using containers. Chris, hopefully he's there.
Yeah, and I don't know what it's worth. I can read it, but he says what happened in this observation, and by the way, this guy agrees that it is with a container. But he says what happened in this observation was that the pressure at the top of the pipe was approximately 1 atmosphere and the pressure at the bottom was higher, much like the atmosphere because there is no dome. Now, this would not be a violation of second law of thermo because the pipe was not an isolated system. If the pipe was capped and he got the same results, then it would violate second law, like our gradient pressure if there was a dome. The sheer fact that we have a pressure gradient on Earth proves that there is no container.
Well, there's a bunch of problems with that. Number one, this is just a dressed up gas pressure gradient argument. So it's a red herring fallacy because which comes first? Gas pressure or gas pressure gradients?
Gas pressure.
So how do you have gas pressure without a container? Okay, after you answer that question, that's the argument. Then we can talk about gas pressure gradients, which I already did on Ball Busters. They can go back to that one. So that's the biggest problem in that argument. They're missing the actual claim. They're answering a sidebar, which is a red herring fallacy. It's just a simple diversion. They probably don't even realize they're doing it.
You have to have a container. First comes the container, then comes the gas pressure, then comes a gradient. Right?
Say that again, Armin.
First comes the container, then comes the gas pressure, and then the gradient in the gas pressure.
Yeah, you can't have a gas pressure without a container first. It's necessary antecedent. Too simple. There was a couple other problems wrong with his statement. I didn't catch all of it, but we could just take that one and destroy it. It's just, like I said, a simple red herring fallacy. Gas pressure gradients. They always go there first because I don't know why. It's like Pavlov's dog. They all parrot each other. They don't realize what they're doing.
Gradient.
How long
They absolutely do realize what they're doing. People like the Rumpus knows that he knows that we're not living on a sphere because he realizes that there are problems with the model. He just won't accept it, and he'll still preach to people that everything's explained perfectly with the model, regardless of whether it's actually explained or not.
According to Rumpus, air is not the atmosphere.
Say that again, bro.
Just let that marinate. Air is not the atmosphere.
That's a quote from Rumpus, just in case that gets taken out of context because it was disjointed. There is a quote from Rumpus. Would you like to repeat that quote, please, Quantum Eraser?
Air is not the atmosphere. Do we want to see it? We need to see. This needs to be documented. So, hold on one second. All right, hold on one second. I'll go ahead and... All right. Share screen. Tell me when it's up. Is it up?
Have you got it in yet?
Yeah, I see.
Yes, it's up.
All right, here we go with the Rumpus. This says 11 months ago. It was about 3 years ago. I went ahead and just in case it got deleted. So you utter moron. And as you can see down here, air is not the atmosphere. So there you go. Any questions?
Oh, he actually wrote this himself. I thought it was something maybe he said and you would have quoted him. He wrote this. Ooh.
Yep.
Okay.
You must have been spiraling at the time.
Air is not atmosphere, bro.
Yep, this is who you're dealing with, people. Air is not the atmosphere. That's who you're dealing with here.
I almost want to go into Jose's right now and just ask them, like, guys, is the atmosphere consistent of air?
Well, the thing is, people that go into Jose's are the ballers that died here. They don't exist here anymore. They've gone down a tier or two, and that's why they're in Jose's.
They're like the washed up Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
There's also some really good ones in here too. The atmosphere rotates with the surface of the Earth and is in the same reference frame. So, Rumpus, how do you have the Coriolis effect? You frigging clown. We won't even go. We don't need to go there. We'll just stay here. Air
Multiple
is not.
reference frames into the reference frame.
Air is not the atmosphere, folks. Can somebody look up the meaning of atmo? Can somebody
Atmo
do
just
that
means
for me?
air.
I can repeat that, Anthony.
Atmo just means air. That's why I use the word atmo, because atmo just means air, and that's what we have. The minute you say atmosphere, it makes people think ball, right? Think about it. Even if we did live on a ball, you wouldn't actually call it atmosphere unless we lived on. Well, you wouldn't. Even if we lived on a ball, you wouldn't call it atmosphere. You'd just call it the air. They have to call it atmosphere to make you. It's like word association. When you say Jordan, you think big boobs or whatever. You think atmosphere, you think sphere.
Most people outside of England
look at the game
don't
they play
think...
with words, though, right? Because it's atmosphere, but then they got airplane. So
yeah, words are important,
airplane
right?
Flying through an atmosphere. Why wouldn't they call it an air sphere?
It started out as It started out as science language, basically. Like the wizardry, they started up around when NASA came up. It was like the new science language, and it kind of slipped in. It was normalized. So,
which is the reason why we say the phrase "science has been raped by pseudoscience."
But it is like futurism, and then they just make it real.
Hey, is my screen still sharing?
Yeah, I had a different Earth picture a moment ago, but yeah, what? Yes, you are.
Oh, hold on, wait 1 second. Smoke them if you got them.
I just want to point out that
no globers left to smoke, though. That's the problem now.
It's going to be well, I don't know, 15% of the audience that will associate the word Jordan with big boobs. Most of the audience will not. Hey, how you doing, Tim? How you doing?
Can you explain that one to me?
Hold on, I've got a new guest. Hey, Tim, how you doing?
1 sec.
Oh, is it? What is the word association with Jordan if it isn't big boobs?
What is it?
Only for Brits. None of the other anybody who's outside.
Okay, so Jordan's a glamour model that had unusually big boobs.
Oh.
So I want to make a point here. There is something called an argument from fallacy. It's an argument from fallacy is a formal logical fallacy of analyzing an argument and inferring that since it contains a fallacy, its conclusion must be false.
Yeah, that's the fallacy. And?
No, it's argument from fallacy.
Yeah, same as the fallacy.
Does it change? So are you trying to say that we can have a gas pressure without a container?
No, I didn't say anything about that.
No, it's you're just pointing out a logical fallacy. Great, that's great. That's true. Wonderful. Thank you.
What does John think about that fallacy? Because he continues to commit it.
Ooh, accuse.
He does.
Does anybody not understand the fallacy that Tim's just detailed? If you don't, feel free to say yes.
I don't, Nathan. Would you like to explain it to us?
Sure. The assumption that because a logical fallacy has been employed to make a demonstration or pull apart an assertion, that automatically makes the assertion false simply because a logical fallacy has been employed to make the example. So, I'll probably butcher this, but if we have ipso facto got a red car, and I say, if we have unicorns, then my car will be red, my car is red, therefore we have unicorns. That's a terrible example because it doesn't use the red car. I can't think of a butchered example on the spot, but the point is that the outcome of the logical fallacy might actually be true. Just because it's been formulated into a logical fallacy doesn't automatically make it false. However, in the cases that we assert logical fallacy, we would ask you to actually demonstrate proof of the thing being presupposed. So in the case of if the Earth is a sphere, we will see antipodal star rotation. We see antipodal star rotation, therefore the Earth is a sphere. We would ask you to
No one makes that argument, though.
I hadn't quite got there. I would ultimately ask you to prove your presupposition. So in this instance, if the only proof is the logical fallacy, that's not a fallacy, Tim.
No one makes that argument. Again, I'll say that.
You do.
You make that argument.
I've got plenty of times that you've made it.
4 years.
It's actually
You made it.
Clown show.
You're a liar, Tim. You make that argument.
So John speaks up now. I'm just wondering, why do you continue to commit the fallacy?
I just got back,
John.
Sorry.
John is a walking fallacy. Don't mind him.
Hold on. No, Tim's laid a charge at your feet, so let's just repeat it. So he's saying you're guilty of the fallacy.
How so?
You just said probably 10 minutes ago that basically all fallacies make an argument false.
I didn't say that. I never said that.
Okay. You didn't say that at all? Not even
No.
an interpretation of what you just said?
No, I never said that. Quote me.
Oh, well, when this is up, I will, actually.
Oh, well, no, you won't, because I never said that. I would never say that. If somebody employs a fallacy, it makes the argument, listen up, void. Go listen to my logical fallacy presentation.
Yeah, so void. What do you mean by void? You mean false? Or
what does void mean?
I don't know. What do you mean? Because you're the one recreating words around
Empty.
it. What do you mean?
Void. I didn't just recreate the word void, you dipshit.
So will you define it for me so I know what you're talking about? Everything proves God.
Hold on, you both start to talk over each other. So
Comes from null and void.
Hold on, Owen.
It means
Just let me give one bit of
negated and
clarity.
empty.
The argument becomes void. The argument.
Okay, so all of his arguments when he uses fallacy are void then, correct?
Give an example of a fallacy he's used.
He's not inferring that it's incorrect to use a fallacy in an argument?
The argument is void. What does logic mean? What is the definition of logic?
You know very well I know logic, reasoning, and actual
That's why I'm asking
fallacies.
you. I know you'll give a good
applying fallacies to everybody.
Sure.
You wouldn't know what logic was if it landed on your head, spun around, and whistled Dixie.
I'm talking to Tim.
You don't even know what elevation is, John.
I know you'll give a good definition. So what's logic, Tim?
What is logic? Why are we even going over that?
Because we're detailing where something isn't logic, i.e. fallacy.
He likes to go over tangents.
We're talking about logical fallacies.
Ask him. He doesn't even know where he is. Ask him his name.
Yeah, won't give us that. Right, Tim?
Well, anyway, let's talk about John and his Pontchartrain.
Isn't it Jason Carl?
Oh, your names aren't Tim.
Let's talk about John and how he doesn't understand elevation, how he's going to the Pontchartrain on Google Earth and looking at 3-foot elevation.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and put that.
That's embarrassing, John, because we actually, 80 and below this show right here, we're talking about much to do with elevation and how the sphere works. So how do you think
you have a level curve, Timmy? How can you have a level curve, Timmy?
People and not talk over people, or are you just going to continue to talk over people?
How can you have a level curve, Timmy?
So you think that's a valid argument that there's 3-foot elevation on this side and 4-foot elevation on that side? Do you think that's really a valid argument, John?
Yeah, because according to your spinning ball space monkey religion, every point along a tangent from your feet drops. Vertical drops away from you at 8 inches per mile squared.
This just proves that you really don't understand. You're out of your
What
depth.
proves? You didn't say anything yet. What proves?
No, you just proved that you're an idiot, basically.
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
understand elevation
Great
on a sphere.
argument. Great argument.
You'd expect that it would be negative or something?
You got any actual arguments?
Would expect drop.
You would expect drop.
Yeah. That's what your religion says. Do you even know the tenets of your religion?
Isn't it funny how a very religious...
That's funny coming from you, John.
Isn't it funny?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Isn't
Can you
it
just let
funny,
Tim and Quantum Erasure...
I just want to say that it's funny to me that people that are fundy Christians go around and call people religious and say that they don't have a religion.
You're a fundy materialist. I'm not I don't believe in
religion. You said I was a
materialist.
Why are you talking to me, John?
You're a fundy materialist. You don't even know what level means.
While the ad homs are going on, thank you very much, Winnie the Brew Bear. Thank you very much.
You understand that level is flat. Let's go over a couple definitions here, Timmy. From Merriam-Webster, level, to make a line or surface horizontal, make flat or level. Level synonyms, flat.
Why are you looking at synonyms?
Plane.
Why are
Level,
you looking at synonyms?
flat, plane. Excuse me, I'm still presenting here. Level, flat, plane, even, smooth means having a surface without curves. You understand this? You know what drop means? To fall vertically. Fall vertically. Height, altitude, elevation mean vertical. You understand that? Go ahead.
Why are you looking at synonyms? Synonyms are not a complete
Not looking at that was
equal.
just added. I just defined these for you.
I almost got my words out, John. Almost.
Go
Why are you
ahead,
looking
Timmy.
at synonyms?
This
Why are
is
you
not a
looking at
synonym,
synonyms?
Timmy.
Again,
He's just answered you. He's not.
he just read out synonyms, did he not?
Definition.
I just read out a definition too, Timmy.
The definitions.
Oh, okay. So 2, that means he did, Nathan. He did read out synonyms. Okay.
Yeah,
Let's get that
and
straight.
the definition. So typically, when you look up a definition, underneath it has synonyms. He's read out the definition and given synonyms as it would be presented if you looked up the definition of most things.
So level, the first one is a horizontal plane or line with respect to the distance above or below a given point. So that would be the radius of the Earth, John.
Where does it say that, sorry?
Where does it say that?
The first definition. Just put it into Google. You can go to Merriam's. You can go to all different places and not just read one definition, but actually look at all of them, John.
Okay, pull it up. Share his screen.
Just look up level, the definition. Why do I have
Share
to
his
pull it
screen.
up?
It's not my duty to
I
prove
never
your
said it was your
claims,
duty.
counselor.
It's not
It's
my
your
duty
duty.
either, bud.
So share your screen. I'll go off right here for a second.
Prepared to share the screen, the assertion fails.
The assertion doesn't fail. I just said it was the first definition, and it is.
Go ahead.
Hitchens raised
Share your screen.
that assertions made without evidence can be dismissed without evidence, and we apply it.
Hold on.
So
Someone
evidence
else
is going to be
just-
reading a definition to you?
Let's not do this.
Really?
Let's not do this. Someone else. If Tim doesn't want to, no worries. Someone else. Just go
No, let's
type
do
in.
it. Let's do it, actually, because I'm actually right, so we'll see.
Go ahead.
So you're telling me this is not after having just done it on your screen from memory if you Google search?
A horizontal plane or line with respect to the distance above or below a given point.
Right.
Okay. You said radius.
That does on the spherical Earth. That would be the radius or another point. Yes.
Where does it say that? Sorry, can you just point where it says that, please?
On a spherical Earth, it would be a curve, Tim, not flat.
Hold on, Anthony. Sorry, can you just point to where it says that, please, Tim?
Says what? A horizontal plane or line with respect to the distance above or below a given point?
No, radius.
I'm saying on the spherical Earth, that's pretty much
that
the
bit.
radius or
Yes,
another
that
point.
bit. Where does it say that bit?
Or even from elevation.
Sorry,
or
where does it
from,
say that bit?
sea level
Where does
or
it
whatever.
say that in your definition, Tim? It doesn't seem
I'm
to
just
say that.
expanding on it. This is
Oh,
just-
you're just expanding on it, are you, stupid fuckwit? We don't give a fuck
here
what
we
you
go.
think, Tim. Your
Here we
definition
go.
doesn't seem to back your assertion.
Here we go.
You're a terrible wizard.
Sorry,
Drama
Tim.
queen.
Tim, your citation does not back your, what did you call it? Expansion?
Yes.
Yes, that's right. It doesn't back it, Tim. It didn't say the words that came out of your mouth. They're just your expanding on the definition, which did not back your claim, in regards to it meaning drop and curve, which it doesn't.
Tim, I've got a question for you. You okay with the question?
Why don't you just ask it? Why you're asking me a question within that, so then I would have to say yes, which would be okay with a question. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you? I'm going to play a clip, so Nathan, mind you, the sound will pass through anyway. You'll hear it. Would you tell me? Do you agree or disagree with the words that come on that you hear next?
Agree. I know we're talking about Coriolis at the moment, but Anthony would agree, I think, that the shape of the Earth is not a question that can be settled by the scientific method, although
Yes.
he'd like to.
So Jeremy states that, and he says Anthony would agree with me that the shape of the Earth cannot be settled by scientific method. Do you agree with Jeremy, Tim?
With the scientific method, I'm sure you could formulate it, not within Quantum Eraser's version of the scientific method, but probably, yeah, you could probably formulate it.
What's my version?
So be clear. So Gem Panda says that Anthony would agree with me that the shape of the Earth is not something that you can settle within scientific method. Do you agree or disagree with Gem Panda?
I just answered that question. Do you need me to answer it again? Are you going to listen to
yes or no? Do you agree with Gem Panda's remarks? Yes or no?
I think you're just trying to put me in a position to say, "Oh, look, they disagree. The ballers disagree."
I am cornered. You're cornered. So do you
I've already
agree?
answered the question. I said that I think it can be formulated into the scientific method, not John's version of it, but
what's my version? Well, we need to see my version of the scientific method, Anthony. He said my version.
Yeah, but Tim, Jim never said anything about a version. He just said scientific method. He never said anything about John's version.
You're rumpusing the shit out of him. He's replied. Anthony, he's given you a reply. Can you at least acknowledge his reply?
I'm trying to get a word in. So his reply what? The question is, do you agree with Gem Panda? And his answer is, you can probably prove it in scientific method. Is that what you said?
I said you could probably formulate it into a scientific method, yes.
But let's just see what his words were again, because he doesn't say that.
Doesn't matter.
I know it's
That's his
answer. Moment, but Anthony would agree, I think, that the shape of the Earth is not a question that can be settled by the scientific method.
It's not a question that can be settled by. So what I'm asking is now, Tim, if the scientific method cannot settle the shape of the Earth, given the definition of pseudoscience, how do we determine the shape of the Earth?
There's definitely a lot of, I've been going through it for years, actually. Very easy stuff. You just walk outside and do observations.
Yeah, wouldn't that satisfy the definition of pseudoscience and therefore bullshit?
Well, that would also apply to flat Earth, would it not?
Yeah, but we're not saying that we can prove that it's a flat plane. We're saying that you guys can't prove it.
Did I ever come on and say that I could prove with a scientific method it's a sphere?
We're not making...
You said it a number of times.
Or are you strawmanning me again?
I'm not
strawmanning you. You and your incoherent hordes for the past 3 years have told us that for us to believe that the Earth is flat, we must deny all of science and physics.
Correct.
Have you ever heard that?
Are you guys really going to strawman me again?
Strawman you? How many on the panel have been personally challenged with that
John,
statement?
You're forcing me to do this. Can you cite where Tim has said that?
Cite where Tim? I'm saying all the incoherent baltards for the past 3 years.
It's a straw man.
Sorry,
just FYI.
Well, it's a stereotype fallacy. I grant you that. Okay, I'm going to leave Tim go. I grant you that. Okay, guilty as charged. I grant you that. Leave it off Timmy. How many people have been challenged with that statement?
Hold on. Fine. If you're not going to attribute this to Tim specifically, then fine, make your statement, John. But you can't put that on Tim.
You're right. You're right. I can't quote him directly. You're correct. It's a stereotype fallacy. You're right. Guilty. All right, carry on.
Directly.
And I'm not going to go through the years worth of background because we know that generally speaking, you baltards have said this. Specifically, you, Tim, I haven't got evidence to prove that that's true.
He's just said it. You're not listening. This is getting frustrating. Why am I having to argue for Tim? He's given you his answer and you haven't listened to him. He said he feels it could be formulated into the scientific method. So you're now saying, I don't have a quote where you've said that. He said it on this show 3 minutes ago.
All right, in that case then. So he disagrees with Gem Panda then?
Yes.
Oh, right, okay. I misunderstood. I misheard or misunderstood. My apologies. Right. So you disagree with Gem Panda. So perhaps you should do a hate video calling Gem Panda out, telling him that the scientific method can prove the shape of the Earth and for the reasons why.
Why?
I'd like to clear up a question.
This is benign. Why is it they're baller joins? Sorry, Paul. Baller joins, and suddenly these benign arguments are thrown at him. You know, he's the one person that I'd expect you to be quote mining him to all hell and, pinning him to a wall. But instead of that, you've got him on account of Ad Populum and Gem Panda.
No, to be honest, I'm just happy that he disagrees with Gem Panda and I can go back and tell Gem Panda that he's wrong. Tim doesn't agree with him and that's good enough for me. I'm done.
I'm not even necessarily disagreeing with him, actually. If you would have heard my answer the first time, you might actually formulate that I wasn't. I said that it could possibly be formulated into the scientific method.
Oh, great. So how could we prove gravity in scientific method then, Tim?
I got it up on screen. Oh, I don't. Nathan, can you share my screen? We're going to have Timmy prove using the scientific method.
Respectfully, John, for this one, let's not do this. We know our position on it, but I'd like to know how Tim thinks that we could possibly prove the shape of the Earth.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
This is kind of a problem, guys, is that we're talking to layman's as far as basically any of the Globers, including myself, that come on. So when they say mass is the independent variable, that's not even true. If you actually look at the Cavendish experiment, it's basically looks like what John presents with the quantum eraser and the double slit.
It isn't. You're a clown.
Okay, go ahead and talk over me. It's much more
I will,
complex
because you're a
and
clown.
mass.
You're making faceless assertions.
Come on, John. Be reasonable. He's making the claim. Let him just make it. What's wrong with that?
He just made it. He said the Cavendish experiment is like the quantum eraser experiment. Well, he's a clown.
Hold on. No. That's not what he said. You didn't hear the end of his statement. What he said was, it's laid out, i.e. it has a hypothesis that's valid in the same way. Why am I being rumpused? Who's talking?
You got a non-clown in the background.
Ugh. Right, that's not what he said. He said it's formulated the same as the quantum eraser. He's not equivocating it with it or saying it's the same as. He's saying that the formulation, he's talking about how it's formulated into presumably a hypothesis, although he's saying scientific method. I'll give him that leverage, but that's not what he's saying. Now, if he's claiming that the Cavendish experiment does have a valid hypothesis, great. Hopefully he'll tell us about it, but not if he gets rumpused.
Go, let him go.
Yeah, I don't actually have that pulled up.
Oh, well, you can disregard that then. No worries.
No, what I'm saying is that when Globers say that it's mass is the independent variable, they're actually wrong about that. There is a different independent variable. I can look it up and come back some other time, but it's not formulated in the scientific method as they formulate it. Just letting you know.
Yeah, we know.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah, we were well aware of that, Tim. Thank you.
What a strong
Thanks, Tim. We needed you to point that out for us.
But you've never actually expressed.
Yeah, Tim. Thanks. Yeah, we're dealing with fundy fuckwits. Thank you for pointing it out. I'm sure they're really appreciative of you pointing that out too. Great work,
Why
Bob.
do you guys use fundy as a bad word when we have a fundy Christian on our panel? Why would you do that?
Name calling, man. Yeah, the ad homs.
How is that a name call? You're a creationist scientist, flat earther, dude.
Creationist scientist? What's that? That sounds like a no true Scotsman fallacy. What's a creationist science?
You don't know what creation science is?
I know what science is. Science is the scientific method.
Damn, I was going to round out the show.
Creation
This
science.
is
You
a
don't know
great
what creation
conversation.
science is.
Creation science.
Hold
Yeah,
on, let's just
creation.
lay down some ground rules. One person talks, the other doesn't interrupt, and that goes for the rest of the panel. Just Tim, just John.
Yeah, creation, right? You have a problem with creation? Can you explain how you can't have creation in a second law of thermodynamics? I wasn't done yet.
You're not answering the question.
I wasn't done yet, sir. You said, so you're not a creationist. Can you explain how you cannot be a creationist while standing in direct contradiction to the laws of thermodynamics and quantum mechanics, please?
So creation science is the interpretation of scientific knowledge in accord with belief in the literal truth of the Bible, especially regarding the creation of matter, life, and humankind in 6 days. This guy here on the panel actually is a creation scientist, so...
That's not creation scientist.
Yep.
What is the difference between a creation scientist and just your plain old everyday scientist?
Because they're actually trying to prove their bias. So they have basically a premise that God created everything, and then everything else has to fit that narrative. And that's what you do.
Oh, is that what I do?
Yeah.
Do I do that?
You tie in the quantum eraser experiment into proving God. Yeah.
Do I do that?
Yep.
What about your bias? How did nature create? Now, let me ask you a question. Was the universe, did it have a beginning? Did the universe have a beginning?
I don't know.
You have no idea. So your position is based on an argument from ignorance fallacy, and you're charging me a creationist with saying that it's creation, but you don't know?
No, I'm saying that I personally don't know. You're the one that claims to say that they know, and then you tie everything into religion to prove you're God.
Yeah, it's not religion. Christianity is not a religion, and they do say
Christianity
that the universe
isn't a
had
religion?
beginning.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he's
No,
gone
I'm not
off
kidding
the
you.
rails.
How is
Now,
Christianity
you
not
said
a
that
religion?
shut up and on. So you said that they don't
You're
know that the
straw
universe
manning
had a
him,
beginning.
Tim. He's not
Arwen,
constantly tying it in with religion.
Anon. Just let
Yes,
them
he
have
is.
it out. We've only got a few
No,
minutes
he's not.
left.
That's what you're
Arwen,
doing.
we've only got a few minutes left of the live show. You can do this after, in the after show. Just for now, just let them have it out.
So, Timmy, you said that they don't know that the universe
No,
had a
no,
beginning.
no. Hold on.
Okay?
I want to go back
Hold
to
on,
how
hold on a second.
Christianity
You said
isn't
that
a
they don't
religion.
know. So this is astrophysicist Paul Davies. The universe can't have existed forever. We know there must have been an absolute beginning a finite time ago.
I
From
don't care. They
Stephen
also talk about
Hawking.
Big Bangs and crap. I don't believe that. So what?
I didn't say Big Bang. I didn't say Big Bang once.
Okay,
From
so religion
Stephen
is
Hawking,
the belief
the
in
second
and
law
worship of a
states
superhuman
that
controlling
disorder.
power.
Excuse me, I'm not done yet.
Two people talking at once.
I'm not done yet, Timmy.
Yeah.
You said that they didn't know. So we already had Paul Davies. He sure sounds like he knows. Now we're going to have Stephen
I
Hawking.
don't care. That's
put
another
his
straw man.
opinion
Why
on
are you
it.
bringing up
And
other people and trying
they
to
are your
attach it to me?
scientists, correct? The second law states that disorder always increases with time. Like the argument about human progress, it indicates that there must have been a beginning. Sounds like they know.
That's what the
Timmy?
presupposition of the uniformity of nature. I'm not really sure that the
Presupposition?
universe has been uniform this whole time. I don't really know, dude. It's honest.
What are you talking about the uniformity of nature? I'm talking about the second law of thermodynamics and the people that you said that didn't know. They said they don't know. But I just showed you that they do know.
What's to say if this place has been around for billions of years? What's to say that there was a whole different set of physics and stuff when no one was around? What's to say
That's a
that?
special pleading fallacy.
But why do you continue to use the fallacy?
That's not
I'm
a
just
fallacy,
asking a question.
Timmy. You used a special pleading fallacy.
How so?
To say that the laws of physics have somehow changed in the past
I'm
or
saying that they could
changing in the
have.
future.
I'm saying that they could have. I don't know if they did or not.
Parts the special
I'm
pleading.
saying that it's a presupposition of the uniformity of nature. I don't know.
No, I'm not talking about the uniformity in nature. You invoked that.
am.
I'm talking about the second law of thermodynamics. You stated that they didn't know whether there was a beginning or not. Right? But I just showed you that they do know.
What? Again, you're strawmanning me. I never said anything about these people that you're bringing up. Okay.
How am I straw manning you? You said that they didn't know whether the universe had a beginning or not. I just showed you
When
two
did I say
cases where
that?
they said they did.
I said I don't know, John. Can you listen?
And then you
I
said
I
they don't know. So your position is based on an argument from ignorance.
No, it's actually being honest and not trying to attach everything to a God or to a deity or something like that. Yeah.
How can you be in a creation argument if you don't know?
It's called being honest, John. I don't know what happened before I was born, okay?
Then why are you in the argument?
Because I'm actually just calling out your creation science, actually.
Oh, here we go again. Timmy,
and
did the universe have a beginning?
Furthermore, I've never met a Christian that says that Christianity isn't a religion. So how is Christianity not a religion?
What does that mean? You've never met? Is this an anecdotal fallacy?
John?
So this is an anecdotal fallacy from something that you just conjured.
And with that, I'll say if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. However, if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley, unfortunately, this is where we bid you farewell. A massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of today's debating panel, and of course, a massive thank you to all of you for tuning in, smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. If you need to keep yourself occupied after this live stream is over, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video. Stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley 1980.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
You're not John.
No,
Is
on
your
the
name
past
John,
show,
Ken?
you said that you don't know of any Christian who says that. Well, I'm offering.
Oh, so you're another Christian. You must be listening to Quantum Eraser too much. So Quantum Eraser, how?
No, I'm listening to you.
How is Christianity not a religion?
I'm listening to you ask a question.
Because
I'm
the
volunteering.
definition of religion is belief without evidence, and I have evidence.
That's not the definition of religion. Religion is the belief and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods.
No,
how is it
belief
not a religion?
without evidence. It's synonymous with blind faith.
No, that's faith. That's faith. Actually, you.
I'm sorry,
actually
that's a synonym
mixing up
of
faith
religion.
and religion here. So
That's your
how is
religion.
it not a religion?
I just told you. Religion
will
is
not answer
belief
that.
without evidence. That's why it's always juxtaposed with science. Clown show.
So you've again created your own word for religion now because
No,
you
I
don't
got
want to
it.
be
I'll get it
with
right
having
here.
a
Hold
religion.
on a second. I'll send it to you. I got it.
Well, look up any religion. Just look it
I already
up.
did.
Religion.
I already looked it up.
Okay.
How can you be in a creationist argument when you don't know? That's the question, son.
Pointing out your hypocrisy. That's
Shut
what
up
he's
and on.
doing.
We're not talking to you.
No, I am talking to you.
We're not talking
Pointing
to
out
you.
your
You're a
hypocrisy.
clown. Just like Timmy. Right? So,
Well,
Timmy,
I
how
will,
can you be
Anon,
in a
Anon knows
creationist
what I'm
argument when you
He
don't
is
know
pointing out
whether
your
the universe
hypocrisy,
was
something
created
that
or
I
not?
have been trying to do for the past 3 weeks.
Anon, shut your pie hole.
So where are you getting this religion definition from? Because all of them say basically belief and worship in a superhuman controlling power.
Yeah, without evidence. It's synonymous with faith.
No, it doesn't say that at all.
Is.
Yeah, it does say. Shut up, Anon!
It doesn't say
So,
that.
Timmy, back to the original question because yours just
No.
Yeah. How can you
Christianity
be in
is a
this
religion.
argument?
Okay.
How can you be in this argument, right? The creationist argument when you don't know? That's the question. I asked you it on the last show.
I think Anon actually would say exactly.
We don't
what
care
I
about
said.
Anon. Answer the question.
Oh, okay. You asked me a question, then talk over me.
I did. Yeah, we don't want to hear about Anon. We want to know why you're in a creationist argument and you don't know.
It's crazy that I have to agree with the Globey. This is what you brought me
Shut
down
up,
to, John.
Anon. Timmy,
You're
answer
such
the
a
question
hypocrite
that I
have
asked
to
you on the
agree with the
last
Globey.
show. You said that you have a problem with creation science, but you don't know whether we were created or not. Why are you in this argument?
I've already answered that question, but I'll go ahead and answer it again. So creation science, like I said, is basically taking a premise and trying to prove that premise with the bias. So I don't need to believe in materialism. I don't need to believe in anything to actually kind of look at that, look at creation science, do I?
Creation science, there is no such animal, for number one. You didn't answer my question. How can you be in a creationist argument when you don't know whether we've been created or not?
I already answered that.
No,
so anyway,
you didn't.
What about this religion, Christianity not being a religion?
You didn't answer
not
that
a
question.
religion.
Why are you in this argument?
I've already answered it. I'm critiquing
Let me ask you another question.
whole
Like I said,
mentality and
we already
narrative
went
here.
over this. That your
critiquing
pseudoscience
narrative,
priests
John.
have already just told you that the universe had a beginning, right?
What?
Your pseudoscience priests have just told you, I just showed you and the audience where they said the universe had a beginning.
Why are you strawmanning me? I
Oh
don't necessarily just because I know that the Earth is a sphere doesn't have anything to do with me believing in string theory, in Big Bangs, and
theory is
anything
not
like
a
that.
theory.
John.
Why are you? What the hell are you talking about? Why are you invoking string? What is string theory, Timmy?
Wow.
You're not even
So
listening to what he's saying.
Wow.
You're not even listening.
He's not listening. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, what is string theory, Timmy?
This guy is a Christian fundamentalist, and really, I would argue
and you're
that
a
he's
materialist fundamentalist. You think that ink, paper, and glue molecules authored technical instruction manuals
of
and
scripts,
blueprints.
guys. Back to the ink, paper, and glue
You
script.
that's what you are. That's what you believe in. What's string theory, Timmy? Is it a scientific?
So anyway, like I was
number one,
saying,
is string
he
theory a
continues to try
scientific
to
theory?
strawman me. by saying, "Oh, just because I believe in the globe, I have to believe in everything that
I never
scientists
said that.
which is a
What is
straw
string
man.
theory? You invoke string theory. If number one, is string theory a scientific theory? Timmy, you invoked string theory. What is string theory? And then we were going to want you to scientifically validate that.
What he said is that he doesn't agree in it, with it. Do you understand that? Or you broke?
No, I'm not
Thank
talking
you,
to you,
Anna.
clown show.
Appreciate
He
it.
invoked string theory.
I'm saying that because I'm going to say it one more time for you. Maybe you can listen this time, okay? Just because
Yeah.
I believe in the globe doesn't mean that I believe in all of these crazy scientific theories that they have, such as the Big Bang, which is the atheist creation story, or things like string theory, John. Do you get that now?
Oh, you don't believe in string theory?
I don't necessarily disbelieve it, but I have no reason to believe it.
Okay, what is string theory?
That's besides the point.
No, to disbelieve it, you'd have to know what you're disbelieving in. So what is string
I just
theory?
said I don't believe it or necessarily disbelieve it. You're not listening.
How can you not necessarily believe it or disbelieve it if you
I'll
don't
tell you
know what
why,
the
because
hell it
there's not
is?
16 dimensions.
We're not talking to you, Anon.
Can I ask Timmy a
You're
question?
not Timmy.
Go ahead.
Can I ask Timmy a question?
Who's talking to you?
Go ahead.
Clown.
No, you made a statement. I thought, well, a couple things. Actually, I want to go back to the level thing, but you did just make a statement. You said the Big Bang Theory is the atheistic perspective. Am I
Creation
correct, or I
story.
misunderstand it? Could you?
Creation story.
Atheistic
No,
creation story.
No. You
That's
said.
what I said.
No, you said it was. I thought you said it was the atheistic creation perspective. Big Bang.
That's what he said.
Did I miss it? That's what I
No,
thought
you didn't miss it. That's what he
Yes,
said.
for atheists. Yes.
No, I didn't say creationists. I said Big Bang. You said the Big Bang is the creation, the atheist creation story.
What is going on here?
That's what I'm clarifying.
Well, we're dealing with a retard that should be picking up cans alongside of the road. He's in a creationist argument, but he doesn't know whether we were created or not.
As a flat earther, I'm embarrassed.
This is like a mechanic
being
in an argument with a car, but he's never seen a car.
Everybody keeps. I'm trying to be clear here, guys. I mean, he thinks I'm not hearing him. I'm saying I don't understand. So please bear with me. I thought you said that the Big Bang is the atheist creation story. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Now you're saying story. Very good.
I'm asking you that. I'm asking, is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay. Quit making fun of my southern accent. Okay, I'm actually trying to ask a question.
Boy, I can do it if I want.
He's a
Okay,
retard,
you said
Paul.
it's the atheistic creation story. So do you? This is a direct question. Do you believe that there is a creator?
I don't know.
Okay, so you're agnostic.
That would be the best way to describe me. I usually say that I'm not atheist, but yes, I would say that I'm agnostic. Yes.
Okay, if that's the case, then you shouldn't have a problem with discussing whether there's a creator or not.
Who said that I did?
I know you're dismissing everything John says, and you're dismissing all the Christians on the panel.
No,
like
I'm not.
Calling us fundamentalists, whatever. Yes, you are. That's what you've done.
Because
that's
he is.
You've done.
I called him that.
I'm on this panel too, and I'm a Christian.
Well, that's fine.
But you cut. Okay. Now I'm gonna go back to the definition of level. I found the definition you found. Okay, but if you read the word adjective, it says having flat or even surface without slopes or bumps. How do you account for that? I thought this might get us back on track instead of, because we're completely off the rails now. So you read the first part, which is a noun. It says horizontal plane with respect to distance above or below a given point. But if you read the adjective, it says having a flat or even surface without slopes or bumps. And then the verb says give a flat or even surface to. So would you agree with those definitions? Because you didn't go any further than the first one.
Like everything, there's multiple definitions, but I think that Reds and other people have demonstrated how you can have a flat surface that's not level.
What? With this tilted freaking shelf?
Yeah, yeah. So there is a difference. And that
hell
does
is
prove
that?
there is a difference. You can have a flat
Timmy, we
surface
just
that
said,
isn't
we
level.
just gave you a bunch of definitions, right? That said level is flat without curves. Right?
Okay.
We're not talking about the surface texture. When he tilts the shelf down, it's not level, but the surface is smooth. You clown.
So here's tangent.
Here,
Actually,
we don't want to listen to your color commentary. Just answer the question. Is flat level?
You're funny, John.
Yeah, you're a moron, sir. Is
So,
flat
hey,
level?
if one thing John is he's
It's
consistent.
flat level.
We talked over
One
3
thing
years
that
ago, and
you
he says
are,
the same
fundy materialist, that thinks that ink, paper, and glue molecules author technical instruction manuals and
Who said I
blueprints,
was a
and something
materialist?
came from nothing. We're
Why are
talking
you
about
saying
you,
words that I'm
fundy
not?
materialist.
Is that how you win
How can you
arguments? Is to
please
straw man
explain
people?
in your materialist worldview mathematics, thoughts, time, information. Please explain that in your fundy materialist worldview. We want the chemical structure formula, charge, mass, momentum, or spin. And the
Is this how you try
electron
to win
volts
arguments? Is straw
and
man
the
people? I never
kcals or
said I was a
kilojoules
materialist.
for look out,
He's
there's
like
a tiger behind
he's
you.
got like dementia.
Right?
I never said I was a materialist. I'm actually
You are a
against
materialist by default.
Ironically,
There's
he's an
two
atomist.
ontological
Ironically,
primitives,
he's
sir.
an atomist. He's
You're
in the cult
either
of quantum.
nature created us or an intelligent design. There's only two choices.
That's a false dichotomy.
Oh, really? What's the third choice?
Anything else?
Anything else?
Boy, always
That's
been
why
here.
we love you, Timmy. Your meticulous attention to excruciating detail. OCD-like. What's the third choice?
Anything else?
Always been there.
Yeah, there we go. Anything else? You're a clown.
That's
Go
not an
munch
answer,
some
Tim.
crayons.
Eternal?
Tim, that's
How about
not an
that?
answer.
Eternal is not an answer.
Second law of thermodynamics violation.
That's still nature. That's still nature. You haven't resolved the problem. Eternal is still nature.
How is it still nature if it was eternally here?
Can't be. That's a first and second law of thermodynamics violation.
Well, who's to say the uniformity of nature was the way that it was?
I'm talking about
right
the
now.
uniformity of nature. I said it's a first
When
and
he gets
second law
nervous,
of
he does that.
thermodynamics
Yep,
violation.
I've caught that too. He has a very glaring.
It's the second law, first and second law of thermodynamics violation. No one brought uniformity of nature into this, Timmy.
I did.
Yeah, you did. What does that have to do with the first and second laws of thermodynamics? Do you even know what they are?
Anything to do with that. You're the one bringing that into the conversation.
Yeah, what's the first law of thermodynamics?
You need to follow along when people talk to you, John. You need to follow along.
What is the first law of thermodynamics, Timmy? And then the second law right after that.
Well, why are you asking questions? Matter cannot be created or destroyed. Well, what does it matter, dude? You don't understand.
It has
the
a
second law of
direct impact.
thermodynamics. It's one of the hardest things to understand.
It has a direct impact on your position. That's why.
Second law of thermodynamics is actually very hard to get in physics. Very, very hard concept, and it's very math-based as well. It's never brought up here.
Is it a hard concept in physics? You can't even define them. Define the first law.
Extremely hard. Extremely hard. Yeah.
So it's extremely hard.
Here's an observation
for the second law of thermodynamics, since you know so much about it.
The second, yeah, I'm an expert in the laws of thermodynamics, son.
What's the equation?
Yeah, the second law of thermodynamics can be summarized as all spontaneous
equations.
processes
It's mathematical.
result in an increase in entropy of the universe. Taken with the first law of thermodynamics, that nature or natural law cannot create or destroy matter or energy, the universe must have had a beginning.
He can't hear you when he talks because he's on Skype.
Right? Right? Just like Stephen Hawking just told you. And Paul Davies just told you. I just gave a detailed explanation of it.
So what is one of the equations from it?
One of the equations from it.
Yep.
Gibbs free energy.
New tab.
I just answered it. Gibbs free energy. Delta G. Do you know what delta G is, Timmy?
So the equation is delta G, you're saying?
Yeah, there's a delta. Yeah, it's called Gibbs free energy. Yes.
So it's just delta G?
Called delta G. The result is delta G. Yeah,
what's
it's
a
not a
G?
disco band from the 70s. Why are you going to equations? What's the problem here?
Because you continue to talk about the second law, and like I said, it's an extremely hard concept to get for a lot of physicists, actually. And
Really?
so
You're
there's a
definitely
lot
not
of
a
math
physicist.
involved as well. You continue to boil it down to, high pressure goes to low pressure and hot goes
That's
to
right, you
cold.
dumbass. That's increase in entropy. Do you know the entropy laws, Timmy?
Do you know what enthalpy is?
Enthalpy. Yes, I do. Heat of reaction.
Why do
You're
you
a
boil down
clown.
things that
You're
are
a
extreme
clown, sir.
concepts
What does a
into
positive
like a
delta G
word?
say? Positive delta G, what does that mean? That's
Just
both
ridiculous, dude.
unfavorable. Let's go with a positive delta G for a reaction that's unfavorable for enthalpy and entropy. What does that mean? You got to Google your way. You better start Googling fast.
No, I'm not Googling. I need to plug in my vaporizer, actually.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Tim, what are equations for in anything? What are they for? Tim, what are equations for? What are equations for?
For quantification of things, ideas, concepts.
Okay, so they're basically a description, right?
I guess.
Okay, was not John describing something? Was John not describing stuff in his explanation? So words can describe things too, right?
Dude, you're just always butting in with like neither here nor there comments, man. Seriously.
Because you're just throwing things out there, like saying, "John, what's equations? John, what's this?" He's giving you the description, but you're not doing anything with it.
Because the second law is extremely complex, and it has to do a lot with mathematics. And I was just wondering if he knew the math for it, just like the law of gravitation.
Yeah, and I just gave it to you.
The law
So
of
what else
gravitation
you
or
got,
not?
Timmy? How can
Do you
you
accept the
have,
law of
since the
gravitation?
total amount, hold on, I'm going to summarize the first and second laws for you. Since the
You've
total
already
amount
made
of matter and
several
energy is
presentations. Who
constant, that's the
cares?
first law, and the amount of usable energy is decreasing, entropy increase, then how in the world can't you have a beginning?
It's supernatural. It's supernatural.
God,
And
man,
it's
finish.
not part
Laws
of
of
the system.
thermodynamics destroy you. You don't even know what they are.
Are you being fed, Tim?
Yeah, he's being
What's
fed.
No, I don't think so. Why do you lay these spurious claims at his feet? Why? It just discredits our argument when you do that.
Seriously.
Why would you do that to him?
Say that again, Nathan. Why what?
Why would you accuse him of being fed?
He's asked a question and he responds maybe 3 or 4 seconds later, and it indicates that someone's telling him the answer.
No, he said, "I'm just stacking up my vape thing or whatever."
I don't believe him.
I don't care what you believe. It doesn't matter.
So back to my question, Timmy. Since the total amount of matter or energy is constant, first law, and the amount of usable energy is decreasing, second law, that's increasing entropy, how in the world can you not have a beginning?
I've already answered this question.
No, you haven't.
That's the presupposition of the uniformity of nature, and I
No,
actually
I
don't
didn't presuppose the uniformity of nature. I used the first and second laws of thermodynamics. Has nothing to do
in our
with
today's
the
world, but
uniformity
who
of
knows that they
nature.
didn't. I'm just saying, yeah, they are laws, just like the law of gravitation are here on Earth.
No, that's an equivocation fallacy. That's not a law.
It's not?
Nope.
I thought you liked laws. I thought that they couldn't be broken. I thought that they were just God's green earth.
I told you that the law of universal gravitation is not it's not a natural law because it's been violated. Helium balloons violate it. Yeah. Yeah. What is the universal law of gravitation?
Why is that funny?
Because it's like so elementary. You guys can think that this guy's your guru or whatever, but the fact is,
I don't call anybody a guru. Tim, a helium balloon is very harmful for the whole law of gravity.
Chocolate. So,
yeah, I'm sorry.
What is the law of gravitation, Tim?
What, Newton's law of universal gravitation?
Yeah, what is it?
You guys just ask questions the whole time. What does it matter? You don't believe in it, so what?
You brought it up!
Do you want me to look it up and then read it to you, or do you want me to have it on the top of my head?
No, that's fine. Yeah, if you
why
like.
don't you just spitball
I don't mind him as long as he declares that he's just going to go away and look it up. Fine, yeah, cool, great, yes, please.
You guys not know the law of gravitation?
You brought it up. I know it, yeah, but I'm just checking if you know it. You've got to look it up. We'll just see what you find, and then we'll go from there.
Nathan, I'm just saying that I'm not actually going to play your games. If you want to talk about,
why did you bring it up then? No worries, Tim. But just answer me this: why bring it up then? If it's something you don't want to defend, why bring it up?
Why did he come here to begin with?
Yeah, he brings up stuff, he throws it at the wall and see if it'll stick. Because he's used to battling those friggin' crayon munching incoherent globetards that let him go. You ain't gonna get away with that here, Timmy. Haven't you learned that in 3 years?
Then I have to define it for you when you guys already know it. It's a rhetorical question. I'm just not going to play that game.
We're checking to see if you know it.
No, let me just bring it back on track. No, John has said, no, it's not a law. And then at the point we've gone, well, let's define it then. That's essentially what we're asking. And you've gone, no, I'll relinquish this argument at this point. Okay, fine.
Well, let's just say that I know it from all the times that Red's rhetoric continues to talk about it.
He appeals to Red's rhetoric as his source.
That's an appeal to Red's rhetoric fallacy.
I've listened to Red's rhetoric, and I've heard it a lot.
Bitch,
so I actually
Nathan, 2 times now.
You guys know the
Red's
equation
rhetoric fallacy.
Because
appeal to Red's rhetoric fallacy.
Wait. So Tim, how does Red's rhetoric define the second law of thermodynamics?
Oh, come on, Chocolate. Let's leave the bitches out of this.
F equals G M1 M2 over R squared. That's what he always says. Yes.
Sorry, can you
repeat
that?
It does sound like that.
Sorry, Tim. You've looked it up. Can you just repeat it? Sorry.
No, I actually know that by heart. F equals G times M1 over, or actually M1 times M2 over R squared.
What's the law?
Just more questions.
No, that's just the equation. Please explain it to us.
I'm not going to.
So how are we supposed to understand what you're talking about then?
Tim, you realize that, right? You tell us the equation, but you're not going to tell us what the actual law is.
No, I'm just saying, like, even with how long we've been talking about it, I would have time to actually look it up. But I'm just like, why answer rhetorical questions?
Just spitball it.
I suspect Tim doesn't know.
It's not a rhetorical question.
I suspect he just doesn't know. Do you know what the law of gravitation is, Tim?
I have no idea. No.
I knew it. I knew it.
Wait a second, Nathan. No, that's a rhetorical question. Timmy, do you even know what a friggin' rhetorical question is?
Oh, I have no idea. I just say things that I have no idea, guys.
For about 2 years, we'd always laugh at you because you didn't know the difference between moot, M-O-O-T, and mute, M-U-T-E.
That was never even me. Again, you're strawmanning me.
You. We laughed at you
I never even used that word.
For conflating the terms. Me and Cathexis.
You know what? Go and find that, John. Go and find where
it's all over. I tried to get Kathy on here, man. I think he's out of the community, though.
Seriously, go and find where I said that, because you're thinking of somebody else. That's the problem.
No, I'm thinking of you, clown show. Let me ask you a question.
I never said that, John. Stop strawmanning me, John.
In the north and southern hemisphere, Timmy.
Didn't it?
Please answer. You know, it's been your argument for 3 years, other than that friggin' stupid photo you drag along with you. Let me ask you this question: do the stars spin in different directions, that is east-west in the north versus west-east in the south.
I'm really glad that you brought that up because I heard you say that just the other day. No glober has ever said that they spin in opposite directions as far as east-west. We actually said that they do go from. Okay, go ahead and laugh like a maniacal weirdo.
I'm laughing at you. It's been your argument for 3 years.
No, it hasn't actually. The argument is that they in the northern hemisphere they go around Polaris counterclockwise. In the southern hemisphere, they go around a central point clockwise. That was the argument, not that they go east-west and west-east in different directions.
What's the argument? So,
but that would mean they're moving in different directions, right?
Sorry.
No,
hold on,
you're looking in a different direction.
Don't put words in his mouth, Chocolate. And they rotate around central points. That's interesting. And
is that a question?
Yeah. What's your point?
I'm saying that he's strawmanning people. No one's ever said that they go from west to east when you're looking in the southern hemisphere. No one has ever said that.
Okay, I'll accept that on face value. So you've now pointed out that they seem to go around two central points, correct?
Yes, they do.
Counterclockwise and clockwise.
And I'm prepared to accept that. And what the hell does that prove?
Well, nothing to you guys.
Well, you're using it as an example. I'm asking you what you think it proves.
Well, again, this was all brought up because he says that globers say that they go from west to east. No one's ever said that. All we've ever said is that it's counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. That's it.
Okay. Are counterclockwise and clockwise directions objective directions?
No.
Oh, so it's
then what's your argument?
It's meaningless then. So yeah, no, I'd already said at face value I'll accept the opposite directions thing. No worries, I won't attribute that to you either. But you are still making a claim about these points that they rotate about. Does that have a point attached to it, Tim?
To people who understand the celestial sphere, yes, and the circumpolar stars and the equinox observations, all this stuff that works on the spherical Earth, yeah, it does mean something.
Sorry,
but
what's that you say? Works on a spherical Earth?
There was a baby crying, and then what?
You said it works on a spherical Earth?
Yes, that's what you would expect on a spherical Earth spinning, yes.
I failed to see the point in you telling us this. I thought you were trying to prove a spherical Earth.
Did I come in here and say, I am here to prove the spherical Earth to you guys that have been rhetorically going over nonsense, semantic arguments for a year or over a year now?
What does semantics mean, Tim?
Oh my God. What is this, the definition show, dude? Seriously.
Yes, it is, because you're using words you have no idea what their meaning is.
Yes, you have semantical arguments.
Okay, semantical arguments. What does semantics mean, Timmy?
Are you able to show the screen to Quantum Eraser? We can get into some observations if we want. Because this is a flat Earth debate.
Do you know what semantics means, Timmy?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm more than willing to look at observations, but so far, all we've got is that you can look at these points about which the stars rotate, and then tell us that if you presuppose Earth is a sphere, they work. So other than you telling us that you can presuppose a spherical Earth, modelling with these observations, what are you going to prove with these observations? Are they of these 2 points above our heads?
I actually never said that you have to presuppose it's a sphere.
You said it works on a sphere model.
Yes, it does.
Sorry, do you have a memory problem? You said it only 60 seconds ago.
No, I just agreed. Yes, it does work on the spherical Earth. Yes.
So you are, in fact, assuming a spherical Earth? I thought you were going to prove it with this example, as opposed to assume it.
How do you test a model if you're not going to assume
We're
its
not
outcome?
living on a model, you stupid dick.
I never said we are.
So who cares then?
I believe that obviously we're not living on a model, but what we are living on can be modeled, and it has with 100%.
What type of model? Is it an airplane model, a runway model, a toy model, an architectural model? Let's see this model. Share Timmy's screen. I want him to show us the model.
Which one?
I'd like to see it too. That'd be great.
Yeah,
Which
we
one's
want to
the
see
Bring one up.
the heliocentric model.
Stellarium or what? Will that work?
Whatever it is, pull up your model. Pull up your sphere Earth model.
The heliocentric model.
There's not just
Yeah.
one model, guys. There's hundreds of models.
Oh, there's hundreds of them.
Hundreds.
Okay, then, Nathan, what model do we want?
The model.
We want the model.
So you guys on your off time can go look at Stellarium. It works.
It's not our job to
Stellarium?
support your claims, counselor.
Sorry, Stellarium. Does that show
Yes.
where I stand?
Stellarium.
Does that show the ground beneath my feet?
Yeah.
You can see the ground in a star program.
Yep. Yes. Did you hear me? Yes, you can. Yes.
Yes,
Yep.
stellar aberration.
Sorry,
is not
sorry, Tim.
conclusive.
Tim. You think the ground I stand on is in a star program?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Sorry,
Have you ever looked
do
at
you
Stellarium?
know what the word reification means, Tim?
Oh boy, here we go with reification.
I'll ask you it a third time. Do I stand on the ground in a star program?
Oh, do you personally stand? That's a stupid question. No.
Sorry, did I ask the same question 3 times? Yes, I think I did. And you answered in the affirmative that I do stand on the ground. I can see the ground in this star program, can't I, Tim?
No, you can see the ground. Now you're saying that you
Oh,
can
I
stand on
can.
the ground in the
So I
program.
do see the ground
You can see
in
the
this
ground.
program.
Yeah.
It's the ground,
That's
is it?
different from you being
Is it?
standing on the ground.
So it's not the ground? Are you having trouble distinguishing
I don't even
between...
understand where you're
Are
going
you
with this.
having trouble distinguishing between a program and reality, Tim? It seems so. The ground in your
The program
program
matches reality,
isn't the ground, Tim. It's a computer program. That's called reification. Do you believe the ground in the program is where you live, Tim?
It's just dumb.
Yeah, you're not bloody kidding. Yeah, it's called a reification fallacy. We don't live in a model or a program, Tim. Your model isn't reality. Who's making all that racket?
Does
Hello?
it not match reality?
Who's making all the racket?
Yeah. Eddie, go on mute.
Looks like it's coming from you, Nate. I don't know.
Yeah, Nate, it does look like it's coming from you.
My bad.
Somehow.
So I'm wondering, I'm sharing my screen for John here. This is something that you can see out at the Great Salt Lake all the time. And it seems as though over 350 feet of these buildings are being obstructed. Just wondering, what is the current excuse for these observations?
Sorry, did you say 350 feet?
Yes.
Sorry, 350 feet would be an actual size measurement. And we aren't seeing in actual sizes, Tim.
So 350 feet or more of the building and the 100 feet that leads up to the building is being obstructed.
Sorry, did you not hear what I just said? Shall I say it a second time? Are you going to completely ignore it a second time? I'll ask beforehand.
What does that have to do with
Hold on,
anything?
Tim, I'll ask beforehand. Can you please listen to the words that I say, Tim? Is that possible?
What does it have to do with anything what we see in?
I
I'm
just
saying
need an
that they're
affirmative
350
yes.
feet
Yes, Nathan.
observably
I'll listen to
gone.
the words that you say and acknowledge them. Not ignore them entirely. I'll try and say them again without your affirmative that you will indeed acknowledge what I say. So, Tim, we do not see in actual size. It's not
What
a
does that have to
measurement.
do with anything?
Tim, I know this is going to trigger you, my friend, because it's the demolition
no.
of your fundamentalist belief in Earth curve. which is an
What does it have to do with
equivocation
anything?
whereby you use actual sizes which do not change with distance, they remain constant. So a 10-foot wall will be a 10-foot wall if
What
it's
does that have to do with anything?
You see, Tim, you seem pretty triggered. Is this because...
No, not at all.
Yeah, well, why don't you shut the fuck up then?
Tim, he has got an angle. Just let him get
Yeah,
to
you're
his
damn
angle.
right, I've got an angle. Yeah, an angle, Tim. An angle. Yeah, that's how we see things. In angles. We don't see in actual size. This is not an actual size representation of the things you see in a distance. It's an angular representation. We have an angle to all of these buildings, Tim. So when you tell us how much of the actual size is missing, it doesn't account for the fact that the angular size will change with distance. So my question, why would you give us... I hadn't quite finished, Tim. Is it because your fundamentalist religious belief in perspective hijacking Earth curve relies on you using actual sizes so that you can exclude perspective? I think it is. And you need to talk over me while I take apart your religious fundamentalist belief in perspective exclusive Earth curve that uses feet and inches, and you can only talk over the top of me rather than have this rammed up you. And I assure you, you will either drop because you're a coward or you'll attempt to obfuscate it by rumpusing. So which is it? You're going to run away like a bitch because this is going to be your belief in Earth curve ripped apart in my answer, Tim. You don't have to like it. You can try and rumpus it. But fact, this will be the demolition of your religion. Either you can listen to it or you can toddle along, sunshine. Which is it going to be?
I'm waiting.
Yeah, no worries. Tim, you are giving us actual sizes for these things that you are telling us have an actual size missing, when in reality, the camera is looking at angles, not actual sizes. However, Tim, you said you were ready. Clearly not ready for your religion to be taken apart. I think, Tim, you should go away, kneel at the altar of R, and come back when you're ready to have your religion taken apart. Because you're not ready, Tim. You're just not there yet. You're not ready for this. It's just too mind-blowing for you. Maybe spend a bit of time with Eric DeBay, work your way up to this. We're too advanced for you here, Timmy. You need to be on one of those rumpus forums where you don't need to listen to the damaging truth about your religion, how it hijacks perspective with actual sizes like you've given us.
Do you want an angular size instead? We can do that.
Wicked.
So does angular size change with these buildings when I zoom in?
You said you were going to give us an angle. Now you're asking me a question.
Does the angular size change when I zoom in?
You said you were going to give us angular sizes, and we'll process them through your calculation of how much Earth curve obstruction we should see. Are you going to ask me a question or give me those angles?
We could calculate the angles if you want, but that's not really helpful.
Yeah, I do.
Because I zoom out.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'd like that. I'm going to run angles through your Earth curve calculator. We're going to see how that goes. So let's have them. First we'll have the angles, then we'll run them through the Earth curve calculator and see how well we get on.
Do you want angular size? Or do
Are you
want
deaf?
Angle?
Are you deaf or just fucking retarded? Yes! Give them me, you stupid fuck!
I'm not going to sit here and take this.
Yeah, that's what I said. Option 2. Toddle along then, sunshine. You're not ready for your fundy belief to be taken apart here. This is just too advanced for you, my friend. I'll tell the audience once you toddle off how Tim's actual sizes in feet and inches don't change with distance. And what are we assessing here? Things at distance, Tim.
Are you going to let me talk?
I'm asking you a question. Are we assessing things at distance? Because that would change its angular size, but the feet and inches value you give us, that won't change with distance, will it, Tim? Take your time, sunshine. I know it's hard. Just give it up, Tim. The Earth's not a sphere. There's no curve. It's just a hijacking of perspective. Take your time, mate. Do the feet and inches value change with distance, given that we're assessing things at distance, Tim?
Do the feet and inches change with distance? No.
Oh, well, we seem to be assessing things at distance and how much should or shouldn't be there based on a value that doesn't change with distance.
So
That's wrong,
Walter
Tim.
Bislin does show angular size for these.
No, it doesn't, Tim. No, Tim, it doesn't. You're just mistaken. Would you like me to educate you about how Walter Bislin's calculator works? Or will you rumpus the shit out of me while I take that little religious belief apart as well?
Are you just making stuff up? I'm
asking you, do you want me to take Walter Bislin's calculator to pieces? Or is that a fundamentalist religious belief that's just too dear to you?
Well, let's just premise and say that I asked how this works on a flat Earth, and then we get into angular size and all this stuff.
Yeah, so that's right. On a flat Earth, Tim, we observe angles, and it would be the same on a globe Earth. You see, you asking us to observe angles now on a flat Earth means that you seem to be sidestepping the angles you said that we would run through the Earth curve calculator. You haven't given them us. We haven't done any calculations. What's going on, Tim? Why are you sidestepping this?
Because it's a red herring to start talking
about.
Oh,
really? Yeah, I thought so. Okay, you've got the win here, Tim. That was a fallacy I used. Maybe it was the fallacy. And in fact, we can use actual sizes when we assess things in the distance, even though it doesn't change with distance.
Is there any flat earthers that actually have arguments for flat Earth?
There's a hand wave dismissal from Timmy there. Oh, how quaint. That's so quaint. You're not ready for this, Tim. Go away, worship at the altar of R, and come back when you're ready for your religious fundamentalist belief in perspective hijacking mathematics and the whole numbers, the actual sizes. Yeah, it's okay, Tim. It's all right. You can rumpus this point. I've made my point 3 or 4 times. Clearly, it's not sunk in. The rumpusing won't work at this point, Tim.
Let's talk to an actual flat earther now. So go
ahead.
That's
me. The Earth is obviously and observably flat. Tim believes in a perspective hijacking calculation. That's it. That's all you've got.
No, actually, I'm just. You can just look at this image and say, "Well, how does this work on a flat Earth? How about that?"
Oh, no worries. Well, the bottoms of the buildings have got a reduced angular size based on their distance. A limited angle can cause things to disappear. It's called the diffraction limit. Is that a good enough explanation? Sorry, you're just going to laugh, or are you going to in any way challenge my explanation, which is absolutely factually accurate? Or maybe you'll just rumpus me. Maybe you'll laugh and rumpus. You asked a question. I gave an answer. It took me about 5 seconds. You couldn't help interrupting. You're not ready for this, Tim. Just go back to one of the rooms that lets you spout fundamentalist shit.
Okay, rhetoric. Yeah. So what is the diffraction limit, Nathan?
Yeah, the point that you have interference, that you can no longer resolve the image. The point that it disappears with distance.
What's the equation for that?
I haven't got the slightest idea.
There's a 2-hour-long video explaining it.
Radians equals 1.22 times the wavelength of light over the diameter of the aperture.
There you go.
There you go.
So does aperture make things less obstructed or more obstructed?
No, you can calculate the diffraction limit based on the aperture. I'd just like to point out at this stage that none of this is included when you give a feet in inches value, even though we're looking at this picture through an aperture.
Okay, that's great.
No, it's not great, because the actual effect is called Earth curve, Tim. Yeah, we have a diffraction limit. It's a fact. You can calculate it based on the aperture of the camera. It's a point that things will disappear in the distance, and the limited angle would be what you calculated for something at distance. Now, when you give a whole number, an actual size in feet and inches, it ignores... Oh, we're not looking at your pictures no more, Tim. Oh, that's a shame.
I'm going to grab some drone video, actually.
Oh, we're going to look at some foreshortening effects, are we? We're done with this subject.
Oh, no, it's foreshortening.
We're done with this subject then, about how the feet and inches value doesn't account for the fact that the optical equipment used has a diffraction limit calculable in the Rayleigh criterion, and that is a cause of things disappearing with distance. That's ignored. Oh, you're going to rumpus the shit out of me right at the conclusion. What coward. You're just not ready for this, Tim. Go to your fundy groups. Go to a church of globe.
Why is this guy doing this?
Because you keep interrupting when I get to the conclusion, Tim. When I point out that the whole numbers, the actual sizes, feet in inches or meters, doesn't change with distance, but in reality, the angle can become too small and then be calculable at the diffraction limit with the Rayleigh criterion just given to you by Zach. Now, you can rumpus me like you are now, but ultimately speaking, Tim, even though you're talking over the point, it just makes it clear you're not ready for this. Your religion's too tightly held. Now, that's not my problem. You just have to rumpus me when I make the point really concisely.
Yeah. The normal rhetoric, okay. So
it's not rhetoric. Perspective, diffraction limit, calculable, listed based on the aperture. These aren't rhetorics. These are facts.
So does height have anything to do with the Rayleigh criterion?
You're increasing your angle.
Sorry, height is an actual size, Tim. Are you dense? Did you not just listen? Height, would that be measured in feet and inches, perchance? Or meters?
I'm saying that when you change height, you get observations like this. This is 30
I already addressed this. I said yes, so we're going to move on to foreshortening effects, are we? We are done with the Rayleigh criterion. We're done with the fact that objects disappear with distance based on their angular size, and now we're going to move on to foreshortening effects. So we're done with this, are we, Tim? No concession, no acknowledgement of your fundy belief that substitutes angular size, apparent size, the size that things look at distance, with actual size, feet and inches, what you'll plug in the curves math so you can ignore the effect of the Rayleigh criteria. Well, you can ignore it, but that would be your fundamentalist belief in a substitution of perspective with Earth curve, Tim. Now, you'd have to like that. You can rumpus me every time I get to the conclusion, but it just shows to the audience that you're a fundamentalist zealot that can't accept anything that flies in the face of your religion.
This guy is fucked in the head, man. Hey, can I talk to flat earthers or no?
Yeah, that's me. The Earth is obviously and observably flat. The only assertion of Earth curve from the ground requires the observer to exclude the effects of perspective, including that objects disappear with distance at the diffraction limit, calculable in the Rayleigh criterion. This is all fact, Tim. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like it. You can keep talking about your feet and inches and how many feet will be missing, right? You don't have to like it, Tim. This is real. This is the world we live in. It's flat. I'm a flat earther.
Okay, so can I actually talk to real flat earthers for a moment?
Yeah, me. Yeah, the only assertion of Earth curve comes with the hijacking of perspective. The Earth is obviously and observably flat, but things do get smaller with distance. Their feet and inches value, however, stays the same at all distances.
Can other people talk besides you for a moment, please?
So hand wave dismissal to every one of my arguments. Quick, someone else save me. Talk to me, someone else. Nathan's taking apart my religion. Someone else talk to me.
This is embarrassing. Go ahead, Riley.
Why? You know when you've got the drone up at its highest elevation, just go back to a point where it's higher rather than lower. Do you have any explanation for why there's not a reflection of the sun at the horizon and it's only in the middle ground?
No, I don't know why.
Surely it should reflect all the way up to the horizon if it's a ball.
So what's interesting with this is that Antonio Subrats came on my channel, said the same thing, Pete Shea, and basically this is demonstrating obviously with altitude, which he's not taking into effect in any of his excuses. It actually changes how much you can see of something that's 37 miles away. This Strong's knob here, that little peak that goes up, that's 37
because you're
miles.
increasing your angle, Tim. You're increasing your angle to your target so you can see it. So your camera can distinguish each light rays coming out. When it's at the bottom, the angle is so narrow that those light waves interfere with each other and the pixels just jumble up and they just show, one and two pixels become one.
Yeah.
So when you're going
correct.
up,
You're
increasing your angle, so you get to see more because your camera can resolve.
Hey, good times for all. I would actually like to talk to you sometime. I can show you a lot of observations and stuff. We can go through this without this this clown here.
What are you talking about? He just made a really excellent example. As you increase in elevation, you widen your angle. Again, we're back to talking about angles. What a shock. So it's all about the angles that we're seeing, and you're increasing that angle, and therefore widening the angle would increase. It's just your religion, Tim. Don't worry about it. Go away and worship R. You can either listen to the explanation, and I'm going to concisely summarise what Anonmoto has so beautifully pointed out. You're opening up the angle as you rise, decreasing the angle as you lower, and that means that the angle becomes more limited and the diffraction limit comes sooner. Simple. All about the angle, Tim.
You can do that with a ball and a long hallway. You increase your angle, you increase the angle of your camera, the ball, the little tiny golf ball becomes visible at the end of the hallway. There's nothing to do with curve, Tim. Come on. Don't be a fundamentalist yourself.
And with that, I will say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you joining us in the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream. Hopefully for smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Obviously, a massive thank you to all of today's debating panel, including Tim Osman, who was an excellent sport, I will have to admit it. If you need to keep yourself occupied after this stream is over, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!